Alexandra Eala picks the moment which was the highlight of her tennis career so far. Alexandra Eala has enjoyed many big moments in her breakthrough year on the WTA Tour. Eala is one of the most popular players in tennis right now, which has been shown by the huge amount of support she has had in Australia and the Middle East this year. This was particularly evident last week, as Eala reached the quarterfinals at the Dubai Tennis Championships. Although this has enabled Eala to reach her career-high ranking, she has actually picked another tournament as the highlight of her career so far. Alexandra Eala explains why the Miami Open was the highlight of her career so far. Eala has climbed over 100 places in the WTA rankings over the past year, which all started at the Miami Open, after receiving a wildcard for the 2025 tournament as a relatively unknown player. Eala reached the Miami Open semifinals after beating the likes of Iga Swiatek, Madison Keys, and Jelena Ostapenko. When speaking to the Australian Open's The Sit-Down Show, Eala called her run in Miami the highlight of her career so far. "I think that has to be the highlight of my career so far," said Eala. "That is what put me on the map. Everything clicked after that, and I look back at that moment and just think, wow, it was insane. It's crazy to believe that actually happened." Eala will return to where it all started in Miami next month, but this time around she will likely be seeded, as has the pressure of defending 390 ranking points. Alexandra Eala names 5 of her tennis idols growing up. Eala was then asked questions about her tennis journey growing up, including about why she actually got into the sport in the first place. This is where the Filipina revealed that it was actually her brother who got her into playing tennis. "I got into tennis because of my brother," answered Eala. "He is 3 years older than me and he started playing tennis. So when it came time for me to pick up a sport, I think they just threw me in with him, and I ended up loving it." Eala is heavily connected to Rafael Nadal as she is a graduate from his academy, and she revealed that he is one of 5 tennis idols she had growing up. Nadal is the only ATP player in this list, with Eala listing 4 WTA Grand Slam champions as her other inspirations. "Obviously Rafa Nadal was a big one," said Eala. "On the girls' side I really looked up to Maria Sharapova and Liana. And then the others later on were Simona Halep and Ash Barty." 3 of Eala's idols are former Indian Wells champions, and she will be hoping to channel them at her next tournament. This will be the first time that Eala has played at Indian Wells, and she is expected to be seeded for the tournament that gets underway on March 4th. Alexandra Eala picks the moment that became the highlight of her tennis career so far. The stadium lights were brighter than usual that night, or at least, that's how Alexandra Eala remembers them. They didn't just illuminate the court. They illuminated every sacrifice, every 5 a.m. training session, every birthday spent away from home, every match she lost before she learned how to win. When people ask Alexandra what the highlight of her tennis career has been so far, they often expect a trophy as the answer. A title, a headline victory, a number beside her name in the rankings. But the moment she chooses is different. It wasn't the loudest applause she ever heard. It wasn't even the biggest stadium she ever played in. It was the moment she realized she belonged. She can still feel the texture of the baseline under her shoes. The air was thick with tension, the kind that settles over a match when both players know it could turn on a single point. Across the net stood an opponent with more experience, more physical power, and more expectations riding on her shoulders. The crowd murmured in anticipation, sensing something special. Alexandra bounced the ball once, twice, 3 times. She remembers telling herself, "Stay here. Stay present. This is your court too." For years, she had been the promising junior, the prodigy with a left-handed forehand and fierce determination. She had collected junior titles and represented her country with pride. But stepping into the professional circuit was different. The rallies were heavier. The margins were thinner. The mental battles were deeper. In that match, she wasn't just fighting for a scoreline. She was fighting against doubt, the quiet voice that whispers, "Are you ready for this level?" At 5-4 in the deciding set, she served for the match. Her heart pounded so loudly she wondered if the entire stadium could hear it. The noise of the crowd faded into a distant hum. The world narrowed to the white service line in front of her. The first serve clipped the net. Fault. She walked back calmly, though inside she felt the rush of adrenaline threatening to spill over. She thought of her family watching from afar. She thought of the long practices under the Spanish sun. She thought of the flag she carried in international competitions. Second serve. This time the ball landed deep and heavy, kicking high to her opponent's backhand. The rally stretched, forehand cross-kid, backhand down the line, a defensive slice, a drop shot retrieved by inches. Then it came. A short ball floating into her forehand strike zone. She stepped in. Time slowed. Her swing felt effortless, instinctive. Years of repetition condensed into one clean motion. The ball traveled fast and true, painting the line with fearless precision. Winner. Game. Set. Match. For a split second, she stood frozen, as if waiting for confirmation from the universe that it was real. Then the realization crashed over her. She had done it. Not just won the match. She had proven, to herself most of all, that she could stand toe-to-toe with players who once seemed untouchable. Later, when reporters asked her what this victory meant, she spoke about hard work and gratitude. She thanked her team. She smiled for photographs. But privately, the significance ran deeper. It wasn't about rankings or headlines. It was about identity. That night, Alexandra stopped seeing herself as the young hopeful. She saw herself as a competitor, as a professional, as someone who could shape her own destiny point by point. She remembers returning to the locker room afterward. The noise of the crowd still echoed faintly through the corridors. She sat down, untying her shoes slowly, almost ceremonially. Her phone buzzed relentlessly, messages of congratulations, pride, celebration. But she let it sit for a moment. Instead, she replayed the match in her mind. The early break she surrendered. The long deuce game she survived. The moment she chose aggression instead of caution. Tennis is often described as physical, but in truth, it is psychological warfare disguised as a sport. You stand alone on the court. No substitutions. No timeouts to hide behind. Just you, your opponent, and the space between you. In that deciding set, there had been a moment when she trailed. The old fear flickered. What if this slips away? But instead of shrinking, she leaned forward. She attacked second serves. She trusted her backhand down the line. She moved with purpose. It wasn't perfect tennis. It was brave tennis. And that's why it remains her highlight. Alexandra often says that tennis has taught her resilience more than anything else. You lose more matches than you win, even as a champion. You learn to shake hands,